What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna take the time to look at the time. Is that funny? So yeah, today we're gonna compare what might be the two best smartwatches you can get out there for less than $100. And let's not get confused here. I'm not talking about smart bands that look like smartwatches. I'm talking about proper Android smartwatches with their own independent OS, with storage capacity, RAM, a bunch of apps you can install that allow you to connect to the internet independently. I'm talking about the AllCall W1 and the X200. Now these watches even have a SIM card tray, which makes them fully independent from your smartphone. And the advantage with these watches is that you can go out for a run, go to the gym, or do whatever you want and leave your cell phone at home. And you can still listen to your music, send and receive messages, browse the web, and you can even make phone calls if you want to. That being said, you can still connect them to your smartphone whenever you need it. So let's start with the design. Both of these watches have a very similar form factor. They're pretty much the same size. Both watches have a 1.39-inch screen with a 400 by 400 pixel resolution. The AllCall might seem a little bit bulkier because of its sharp edges and its more classical look, while the X200 is sleeker and looks more like a sport watch. Both look great in my opinion, and both watches are offered in silver and black for the X200 or dark brushed steel for the AllCall. But even if you commit for one style over the other, you can still make your watch look more classical, sports, or even funky, since both these watches have a great choice of faces you can choose from. It's super easy. You just leave your finger on the display for a second or two and you'll automatically have access to a bunch of different faces you can choose just by swiping left and right. You can even download more if you want. Both watches have a little speaker on the left side and a microphone on the right side. Now as you can see here, the AllCall has two buttons while the X200 has one button and one camera. This little camera can shoot 2 megapixels photos and 720p HD videos, so you won't be blown away by the image quality, but it's cool to have this when you want to capture special moments on the fly or if you're in a James Bond mood. Something that the AllCall doesn't allow. Both watches can be set to turn on the display with a simple arm gesture so you can see the time. When it comes to the specs, both of these watches run on Android 5.1 using an MTK 6580 quad-core CPU with 16 gigabytes of storage capacity. As for RAM, the AllCall has 2 gigabytes of RAM while the X200 only has 1 gigabyte of RAM. So the AllCall might be a little bit faster if you're running multiple applications at the same time. Talking about apps, both of these watches have access to a wide variety of apps that you can download from the Google Play Store. Now while both of these watches run on the same OS, the interface is slightly different. But the difference is mostly aesthetic as the navigation on both watches is very similar. As for battery life, both of these watches have a decent battery size, but the X200 has a slightly larger battery of 450 mAh while the AllCall has a 400 mAh battery. So the X200, depending on your usage, might last a little longer. Now there's a very cool function that the X200 doesn't have but the AllCall has, and that's the Bluetooth calling function. Basically, both watches can send and receive calls if a SIM card is inserted, but the AllCall allows you to connect the watch to your smartphone and take calls that are coming into your phone. So basically it's like using your watch as a headset instead of pulling out your phone out of your pocket every time. On the other hand, well, the same hand in this case, you know what I mean. The X200 is waterproof and is IP67 certified. So if you're more of an active type or you're the type of person to forget to remove your watch before going in the shower, maybe this one's for you. Finally, the price. Basically, both of these watches are amazing in my opinion and they're both under $100. But the X200 is about $10 cheaper than the other one. Let's do a little recap here. The X200 has a camera, is waterproof, and it has a slightly larger battery. While the AllCall has a sleeker interface, more RAM, and it allows you to make Bluetooth phone calls. I think it'd be really hard for me to pick one over the other. They're both really cool, but I'd love to know which one is the best for you. So you can let me know in the comment section below which one you would pick and why. And if you haven't already, you can click right here to subscribe to our channel, or you can click right here to watch another video, and I'll catch you later.